Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back finally with another Fake Grand Order video. And I accidentally deleted the video I did previously on this, so it's technically not my first video back. I'm still obviously affected some form of sickness, but I should be able to talk and tell you about Fuun, Karakuri, Illya's castle, which is the upcoming Lotto event. So let's get right to it. If you want to support me and my dumbass for deleting videos I shouldn't have, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I've been recording for so long, but this is what happens when you're rusty and you don't do it for a bit. But anyway, Fuun, Karakuri's castle, Illya's castle. It should be happening sometime around the 23rd. PDT time is when we're going to be getting a broadcast talking about the event, and then we'll likely go into maintenance right at 18 PDT, and then by the time it comes out of it, it will be the 24th for me. I don't know how it will be for you, but whenever we leave maintenance, that is when the event will start. So 23rd is when it's going to be starting. I'll just say definitively it starts on the 23rd, and you know, sometimes it starts on the 24th for some people. Just kind of depends on your stage of your life at that time. Anyway, like I said at the beginning, this is a Lotto event. There's no requirement on this one because they want to get everyone to be doing the Lotto event. Whether you're old or new, it's a great time for both returning players, new players, and currently ongoing players. The focus on it is usually grinding the Lotto event, and then there are challenging quests. In this event, they're called Super Obstacle Quest. Something that's a little bit different from most of them is that in this main quest, it's a prologue, and then it's the finale, but to unlock the finale, you have to clear the Super Obstacle Quests. And the Super Obstacle Quests, which I can show right here, these are different from the other Lotto event challenge quests because typically those are meant to be used with very specific teams to get them done, or kind of like try and figure them out. And sometimes you're not able to do them because you don't have the right units built up for them. In this one, you can only use one of your own servants, and then the team will consist of Illya, Miyu, Chloe, Kotaro, and Danzo, with each NPC having a buff to handle this specific challenge. Beating these challenge quests will give you a ticket, and from what I've been told, because I was worried whether or not I would be able to count these 6 tickets in my final total of saving for 300 tickets, is that these are easier than what you would expect from most Lotto challenge quests, like the Nero Fest and the Battle in New York. The reason being is that they're obviously been designed to use these specific units because they're going to be getting specific buffs. Like in this one, I believe the first fight, Illya will be getting a buff to make it easier and stuff like that. So obviously, if they are making specific challenge quests in which you can only bring one servant, you're meant to be able to beat these with these 5 servants. Just that one servant that you bring in will help with whatever the gimmick of the fight is and stuff like that. So, easy enough. I look forward to doing these and for videos and stuff. And there will also be a challenge quest which will unlock after you've cleared the finale and if you've beaten Solomon. So if you're a newer player, you won't be able to do it. And then... excuse me. Again, my coughing has been getting better, but because I've been recording for so long, the coughing is starting to come back. But it shouldn't be too bad because I'll be resting for a while after this video, I hope. Actually, that's not true. I have to get ready for ZZZ and go summon on that and to do another 50-50 ride. Woo! 50-50s. But back to this one. The release dates for this. This is the way it's going to be. We're going to start with a prologue, Super Obstacle Stage, the first of the Super Obstacle Stage challenges, and then also free stages, the first stack of them. And then 3 days, every day from that point on will be a new Super Obstacle until the 6th day where it's going to be Epilogue, and that will be the end of it. Every 3 days it's going to be a new stage, so the first stages will be there right at the start of the event, and then 3 days later the second stage, and then around the time we get the epilogue is going to be when the third stages will be there. It's important to do these stages because there's different materials. There's apples related to them. There's apples inside of them. And also they're a little bit funky, so what's the best way of saying this? Because I honestly wanted to divide them away from this video so I won't spend too much time on them, but obviously in the free quest, since you're going to be doing a lot of the Lotto grinding on the 7th day, every single one of these have different materials, different fights, so in theory, if you say, for example, wanted to grind the 5th day on the here because it has ghost lanterns and crystals in it, and you want to have a little bit more focus on that. So for the first 3 days, maybe you focus in a little bit more on this stage and then go to the other stages to kind of clear them out because they have other material for them. You can do that. The thing that's kind of weird is that all these stages have really weird fights in them. Just about all of them have really weird fights. And I did want to kind of do a video talking about them, but I feel like it'd be better if I actually just waited for the fights themselves to show up to talk about them. Especially because, again, the first and second stage only are here for 3 days, and then they're gone. It seems like a little bit of a waste of time, but feel free to tell me on that. But it's important to keep note of for the free quest. That's kind of things that you need to know, is that there'll be different materials. I'll leave the site in the description box if you want to see what the specific drops are and stuff like that. Like this one that you can see has Comet Shards and Divine Leyline Spiritons, which I would like to grind, but there's also a 820,000 fucking boss inside of it called Limbo, so likely I'm not going to be doing that. Or likely I will. I do like beating up Limbo. But you can see how weird this fight is. The Berserker, and then the second stage is an Assassin and a Foreigner, and then a Berserker and a Limbo. It's very odd. But anyway, I also re-recorded this part a whole bunch because I didn't know the best way of handling it and being able to talk about it quickly so it didn't take up like 15 minutes of the video or something. Anyway, back to here. That's kind of how the event's release dates is going to look like. In terms of the event servants, there's only a single unit that has 100% damage bonus and 50% bond, which is the new unit, which is Kashin Koji. And then in terms of damage bonus and 20% bond, all the ones that were featured, such as Chloe, Illya, Miyu, Danzo, Kotaro, those have 50% damage bonus and 20% bond, and then Satonia also has that. Even though she's not one of the ones that's going in there, she likely has to play some part of the story for that to be possible and stuff like that. Next, let's take a look at the event cards, which is the command codes. We have Artificial Kanoichi, which is 50% damage against demonic enemies when you attack with the engraved card, and then gain 2 crit stars when attacking with that card. 4-star is the Pygmalion's Chisel Out, which is 5% crit damage to the engraved card, recover 200 HP when attacking with that card. The 3-star is the Infant of the Snow's Comrade, increase crit damage by 15% to the engraved card when attacking with it. In terms of the... Here we go, show them off. There's Shiro the Bear, my favorite Shiro. Next, we go to Craft Essences. We'll start with the 2 free ones. The 5-star Winner's Eye, which you can get from the shop, is damage against riding enemies, plus 25%, and then give you 30% MP charge at the start, and then only for this event, Castle Pass drops get +1. This is the Lotto currency. And then another 5-star is the one that you can get from, called Manor of Repose, is the one that you will get from the Lotto itself. It has the Nero special of giving you Guts 1 time over 1 HP, and HP recovery plus 10%, along with giving you 100% damage bonus, 200% if you max limit break it. Like I said, similar to Nero Fest or Battle for New York, because Nero Fest was first, Nero had a whole Guts thing, and kind of since then, the legacy of these events, they always include a CE that gives you Guts at least 1 time with 1 HP. You can probably see power creep happen in live time if you go back to the old ones. If I remember right, that first one ever only gave you Guts 1 time 1 HP, and that's it. And then the next year, it was better, and then the next year after that, it was better and better and better and stuff like that. Anyway, the banner 5 stars, which you can go into right here. We have Princess of Fine Clothes, Arts and Buster plus 6%, crit damage plus 10%, and then gain 3 crit stars every turn. And then it will also give you, for this event, the Mechanical Water Gun drops plus 1. That's the gold currency for this event. For 4-star is the Shamanic Eight Stones Leap. I also spent like 8 minutes on here trying to say if that was the right way of saying that word, but I'm too tired, so I'm going to go on. Gain 10 crit stars 1 time, quick and arts plus 3%, and for this event only, give you Mechanical Helmet drops plus 1 or the Silver Currency plus 1. Next, we have the Gimmick Master, damage minus 100, MP gain plus 5%, and for the event only, Mechanical Protector plus 1 drop, and Bronze Currency, which is the Bronze Currency, gives you plus 1 in it. Not too bad. Nothing that super stands out for me, but there's some nice art on here, and that's usually good enough for me. Plus, I always like seeing Herc. Herc is cool to see. I love my boy Herc. It's unfortunate that they can't write much story with Herc, because a lot of his story is in the facial features and his actions, and it's kind of hard in a VN, to be 100% real with you. especially when most of his dialogue is Berserker Scream. Anyway, the Lotto. Usually this is where I would talk about the event shop, but because it's the Lotto, I'll talk about the Lotto. First, especially because this is the reason you're grinding. Every Lotto event has a box full of stuff. Just in case you don't know how the Lotto event works, I'll explain it to you real quick right here. Every Lotto event has a box full of stuff that you can spend currency on, which is the thing that you grind for in this event. In this case, it's the Castle Pass. To spin a roulette will give you one item from inside the box. You get 600. You will need 600 passes to get every item in the box. But if you pull the grand prize, you can choose to reset the box early. Resetting the box gets you a new box full of stuff with a new grand prize inside. This continues until the 11th box where there's no more grand prizes and you have to get every item in the box to reset the box. So usually what I do is, and especially in the early days of FGO before I didn't know any better, I usually just got the grand prize and just kind of like immediately skipped to the 11th. And eventually realized there's really no point in that because I'm already grinding the Lotto and trying to get all the materials inside. It doesn't really make sense to reset unless you specifically don't have a lot of time left in the event. And you're just trying to get absolutely everything that's good and then just moving on and then never doing it again. So in that case, it kind of makes sense. Even then, I would suggest making sure that before you reset with the grand prize, that you have the golden apple and the 2 silver apples. These don't go on to the final. When you get to the 11th box and further or beyond, those are replaced with QP and friend points, which are not as good as a golden apple and 2 silver apples. The bronze apples are infinite, but not the other two. So I would again suggest, if you are speed running it, make sure to pick up the grand prize and plus these two, because these will help in the grand scheme of things. Now, in terms of what are inside of these boxes, let's talk about them. So for the grand prizes, through box 1 through 5 is the event C, which will help you with damage stuff. Inside the 6th box is a lore. Through 7 through 10 is a golden foe. The site on here mixes up. This one has the HP foe, and then so does the one in the event shop, so whichever one. Usually the HP foe is inside the Lotto, and the attack one is inside the event shop in Lotto events, but for whatever reason, they only used HP golden foes. I don't know why. Probably a slight little issue, but it's okay. Rewards for getting through boxes 1 through 10. These are the ones that are exclusive to boxes 1 to 10, which are the golden apples, 2 silver apples, 10.6k friend points, and 4.45 million QP. The reason I bring these up is because obviously that is going to change in the next box. And then finally, from the 11th box in total, this is what you're going to get in every box. 4 T carrier Setonia dolls, 2 pages, 2 medals, 2 chains, 3 fans, 3 bones, golden gems for the 7 servant classes, 2 red gems of the 7 servant classes, 2 blue gems of the 7 servant classes, 25 4 EXP, 15 3 EXP, 3 bronze apples, 45 mana prisms, 10.7k friend points, and 4.48 million QP. Obviously, like I mentioned beforehand, the friend points and QP are replacing the golden apple and silver apples from boxes 1 through 10. So, let me drink a water before I start talking more, because I'm feeling the coughs coming back. That was my brother, not me. Next. So, obviously the Lotto is a fantastic time to be grinding. For new players, for returning players, for players who've been playing for a while. The reason is that this is one of the very few events where you're able to get material, get an EXP, and get QP all in the same case. Usually, if you want to try and grind for one of these, you have to sacrifice with the idea that you're not going to be able to get anything else. For example, if I wanted to grind only QP right now, I wouldn't be able to get gems, I wouldn't be able to get bones, it's just not possible. But the Lotto event is one of the few times where it is possible to do all that stuff. So you should take advantage of it, especially if you are a newer player, to get your box up in order. Because especially if you're a new player, you're getting materials for all these, and maybe you don't need them right now. But while you're also doing that, you're getting gems. And gems are really good to stockpile and use up for when you want to start really leveling up a lot of servant skills and append skills as well. And the EXP is also really nice because a lot of times in the early days of FGO, you usually only use EXP on the units you really like. But when you're grinding the lotto, eventually you get so much EXP, you're like, whatever, man, I'll just give it to whoever the hell has it available at this point. I just have so much, because I've grinded like 40 boxes, and now I have so much 4 EXP that I can't just stuff them away. This just needs to go to somebody. So that's a really good way to build up a lot of units that usually you would have to force yourself to kind of level up. And the 3 EXP can actually be used for mana prisms, which is what I usually mostly use them for. Funny enough, nowadays I would likely use the 4 EXP and the 3 EXP for mana prisms, but that just shows how much I've been grinding at it, where if I'm not getting 5 EXP, it's usually not worth it unless I have a really, really brand new unit that needs to reach level 90. So yeah, I would suggest doing it. There's one lotto at the end of the year, which is Christmas, and there's another event that's really good for most players, which is the raid. But the raid that's going to be happening, you need to make sure your units are already good for the raid by the time you get there, because raids don't last very long. Raids are also very good for QP, bond, everything that you want, but they never live very long because they exist for like an hour and then they're gone. That's the best you've got. It's worse on the JP version of the game. The JP version of the game, you don't even get the hour. You get like 30 minutes and then the raid is over because there's a bunch of starving, hungry people ready for the raid. So take advantage of the lotto. The other thing I'll mention is that also lotto at your own pace. I can see a lot of people probably getting discouraged. I've seen it a couple times where I'm like, hey, it's the end. How much were you able to grind out? And some people are like, oh shucks, I only grinded 50. It's like, it's not that bad. You shouldn't compare yourself to the player who grinded like 300. They're crazy. And also their box is built enough that they can grind 300. You shouldn't treat it like that. You should treat it as get it as much as you can. Be happy with the results. And then that's good. No one's for, as thankfully for FGO, it's not a game that, what you give into it is what you get. So as long as you're happy with the end results, it's fine. You don't have to be like, I really didn't take super advantage of it. You should when you can. But if you end up missing out on it, it's fine. Typically you were out doing something that was not playing a mobile game, and that's perfectly fine as well. Just, you know, grind at your own pace. Don't feel the need to burn yourself out, because that's the thing I don't want. Is I don't want you to burn out and then just quit the game. Because you're like, all I did was like loop for 7 days straight, and I'm just fucking done with this game. And now I have to spend the next 3 days opening these fucking boxes and dealing with the stuff inside of it. I have to spend QP. I've seen players reach the QP limit and not have a way to spend their stuff. Do you know how insane that is? Moderation is good for everything, is what I'm trying to say. Do your best out there. I support you. I choked a little bit. Sorry. Anyway, let's talk about the event shop, shall we? So, you'll notice one of the things I mentioned was the Setonia thing. What do you use those for? You use them in the event shop. You have the T-Carrier Setonia doll, the mechanical water gun, the mechanical helmet, and the mechanical protector. If you want to get everything inside the T-Carrier Setonia doll, or you want to clean up everything there, the things inside of it are one lore. All 3 of the command codes are here. Arts Buster and Quick Code Openers, along with 3 code removers, 50 stacks of evocation leaves that you can buy 5 times, so a total of 250. And then once you have everything in the shop, you can then start exchanging the Setonias for 500k QP, which is very nice. It's not bad. That means after you've used all 38 of them, you can continue to keep grinding and you can keep getting QP from it. Very, very nice. Very nice for sure. Now we'll go on to the gold material, which is the mechanical water gun. If you want to get everything in the gold material shop, then you'll need 4,550 of them. Inside of it, there are 2 event CEs, 10 scarabs, 20 reactor cores, 20 lamps, 20 sun scales, 20 statues for saber, archer, lancer, riders, and casters, 2 golden foes, 10 stacks of evocation leaves that you can buy 25 times, so a total of 250. And then once you have everything in the shop, you can exchange it for 10k QP. Every 2 of them, you can get 10k QP. Not as big as the Illya one, but it's because you get a lot more of these water guns. And trust me, you will eventually, if you're really seriously grinding the lotto, you will eventually get to 4,550 pretty easily. And then Need to exchange them for QP. I usually keep one of them nowadays, just so I have something to remember the old days by. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Anyway, next for the silver material, you need 4,550 of that as well. Inside this shop is 1 event CE, 20 Langura, 20 giant rings, 20 infinity gears, 20 silver statues of Saber, Lancer, Archer, Saber, Archer, Lancer, Rider, and Caster. I don't know why I said it weird that time. A golden foe, the 10 stacks of evocation leaves that you can buy for 25 times for a total of 250. And then you can trade them all for water guns once you finish cleaning everything up. And then inside mechanical protectors, you only need 2,650 of these. Inside this shop is 1 event CE, 20 Yggdrasil seeds, 20 stakes, 30... I want to call them fluids, but they're called magical fluid. In my notes, I only put down fluid, but that just sounds weird to me. 30 heroes proofs and a golden foe, along with 20 silver attack and HP foes, along with 10 stacks of evocation leaves that you can buy for 25 times for a total of 250. And then after you finish everything in the shop, you can exchange these 10 at a time for the silver material. And the same is true when you're finished with this shop, you can, every 10 of the silver material, exchange for a single one of these mechanical water guns. And yeah, that's the event shop. Again, typically you will just clean out the event shop by normally grinding out the lotto, either because you're doing the highest free quest, which is 7, which gives the most drops, but again, this is usually hard for most players, or you're likely doing 6 to make sure that you can get everything from here. And if you're doing 5, I guess you just don't care about that. But again, once you have everything in the event shop, there's no real reason to hang around for it. Even if you look at it this way, you get more from the Satonia dolls. So it makes sense to get as much of the lotto stuff out there anyway. I'm sure there's like deeper math to it, but at that point you're entering a realm that I can't help you with. You don't want Wokey math in your whatever. The most I know is like basic percentage to help me pull stuff. And to get by in a base level. That's about it. And yeah, let's move on to the summon campaigns. So, there are 3. I'm only going to be talking about 1 unit, which is going to be Kashin Koji. But I'm going to at least talk about the other banners that are going to be around. So the first banner is Kashin Koji, Kato Danzo, and Fuma Kataro. The second banner is Illya, Miyu, and Fuma. The third banner is Satonia, Miyu, and Kato Danzo. And each one of these has the event Cs, obviously. So the only new unit on here is Kashin Koji, but I will mention at least Kato Danzo. How do I feel about her? I love Kato Danzo's character and look. In terms of a unit, I think she could probably be a little bit better. I think she may have gotten some buffs on JP that we haven't gotten yet, I think. But for the most part, she isn't like anything too crazy to write home about. But God, she's so cool. She's a ninja robot lady who's also Fuma's like mom somehow. I don't fully understand the relationship there, and I feel like sometimes it gets into a weird territory at times, but it's okay because she's just a loving mother, robot mother. Probably on the list of mothers now that I think about it. But you know what? She's only the mother of one ninja boy. But anyway, getting away from the point. I think Kato Danzo is awesome. The thing that's not awesome, being story locked. Being story locked sucks ass. If you're a big fan of Kato Danzo, that means that you can't actually get her on a normal banner. And because she's not limited, you can't. She usually doesn't get as featured as often. It's really weird. Story locked servants, I feel like, don't get as mentioned as limited units, so they're actually harder to get, and they're also harder to get on rate up. So if you're someone who wanted to go super balls to the wall and be like, no, I need my mechanical ninja mom to be level 120, good fucking luck to you. It's not easy to pull this woman, and this likely would be one of your best chances along with Satonia. So if you're someone who's about that Danzo life, this is your best chance of getting them. I wish you the best of luck if you are. I'm not saying everyone should be. I have my 1 copy, and I'm happy for having it. I think I even used a 4-star selector on it, and with the idea knowing that she was kind of bad, and I said, I don't care. Yeah, she's bad. Most ninjas are cool and bad. Anyway, Kashin Koji, let's talk about her now, who is, funny enough, not limited. So in theory, you could save for the 5 selector down the road, but if you really like Kashin Koji, there's enough 5 stars just randomly in the game that you can't actually bank on just getting her. But if you're someone who's like, oh, I kind of like her, I wouldn't mind getting her randomly someday, I guess there's no need to summon, especially with Anniversary so close by. But if you're a big fan of her, it's understandable to summon for her, I'd say. Next, let's talk about her. She is an assassin. She has 2 quick, 2 arts, 1 buster, 5 hits on quick, 4 hits on arts, 3 hits on Buster and 5 hits on Extra. Her active skills are the Illusion Genjutsu, not to be confused with Genjutsu, EX. Grants party invincibility for 1 attack 3 turns, charges on MP gauge, gains crit stars, 30% to NP, 20 to stars, gain 20 stars, and the cooldown is 7. The second skill is the Apparatus for Slaughter B+, increases on quick performance for 3 turns, increases on attack for 3 turns, grants self a buff on attack buff for 3 turns, and then charges on MP gauge when normal attacking with quick cards, 30% to quick, 20% to attack, and the MP you gain is 10%, and the cooldown is 6. Third skill is the Mystic Eyes Bees, a chance to bound 1 enemy for 1 turn, increases own critical star absorption for 1 turn, increases own crit damage for 1 turn, and the special note here about Bond is that similar to Stun, but unlike Stun, this effect ignores stun resistance and stun success rate buffs. At level 10, it's 100% bound chance, a 500% chance of absorption, and the crit damage is 100% on a cooldown of 7. Her passive skills are Present Concealment A, Mechanical Creation EX, and Mental Modification EX. Increase on crit damage by 10% and increase on debuff resistance by 10%. Her third skill is an Anti-Alter Ego damage attack aptitude. And her Noble Phantasm is the Karakuri Geho Shishi Funjin, Mechanical Heterodox Art, Ferocious like a Lion, Rank B, Quick, Anti-Unit / Anti-Army, it hits 8 times, deals damage to all enemies with a 40% chance to instant kill them. This is the good kind of instant kill that won't trigger early, and thus you can gain NP gain if this triggers on an enemy, because they will die after damage. I believe so. If I'm wrong about that, feel free to tell me, but I'm pretty sure this is the good version of it. If it's not, that's unfortunate. Her NP level 1 damage is 600%, and at NP level 5, it's 1000. And her overcharge effect is the chance to bound all enemies for a single turn. This activates first. And then deal extra damage against enemies with the bound status. 60% chance to charge level 1 and 150% extra bonus damage. And if you get her all the way to the final charge level, a 100% chance to bound everyone and 200% bonus extra damage. So that's Kashin Koji. I think she's a neat unit. I think she's really neat. I think she's also good. Obviously, I don't think she's the absolute best in the whole world. She ends up being a very solid unit in my eyes. I think she has a lot of cool things going for her. I like the kind of bound, having like the ability to kind of use bound and mess with that. I like the negatives and positives that it has with it, such as, obviously, funny enough, the ability to not be affected by stun nor existence and not take advantage of stun success rate is both a positive and a negative, just because it means that your 150% maybe won't be on all the time, but it also means that you at least don't have to deal with stun resistance. It's really funny because it is the ultimate, like, oh man, that's really good. Oh, but I see, this is already kind of built in there to not make it. Funny enough, though, if you can get her all the way to the final charge level, for some silly team, you could get a lot of damage in and also stun everyone, which is really nice. But yeah, she seems like a perfectly solid unit. She has some stuff that will help the fact that she's quick, such as the ability to get a little bit more MP gauge with quick cards. She has ways to take advantage of the fact that she has a buttload of crit cards, because she gives herself a lot of crit damage for a single turn, but still 100% crit damage is really nice, especially if you are timing this with her Noble Phantasm and you're getting the maximum amount of damage out in a single turn. And also, this is tied to a stun, so maybe sometimes you'll just randomly stun them as well, so if you don't finish the job, you'll know that they're at least not able to fight back on you in any kind of capacity. Plus, she has a party-wide invincibility for a single attack 3 turns, which can be used very nicely with another assassin man, Tez. It is Tez, right? Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. Let me just be sure here. I know I'm recovering from a sickness, but I'm pretty sure I haven't forgotten one of Tez's abilities. Just to be sure here. I did get confused with one of Tez's abilities. I was thinking, okay, I was thinking of his sister. My bad. My bad, everyone. Still recovering from sickness. Don't yell at me. Hide away from me. At least I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. It works well with this, which will convert that invincibility to anti-purge defense, which is nice. Silly little synergy for sure. Not saying it's the world's greatest, but it is still a nice way to give herself some crit stars. Just a lot of like nice little good things. Unfortunately, the thing that is neat about her, which is her bound status, is also the thing that likely keeps her as a kind of like even-toed. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, yes, I think you're very solid for what you can do, and you can probably be very fun to mess around with, but because you're so focused in on Bound being your main damage thing at the end there, it means it probably, you won't be the main thing. It will be the main, it's your main cool little side thing about you, but it's also the thing that probably keeps you from the upper echelons. But I think that's perfectly fine. I would be super happy if I actually randomly got her one day. She seems like one of those units that seems really fun to mess with. Plus, especially if you're in some kind of challenge fight where there's just a buttload of dudes, having an AoE that just has a chance to always stun them sounds kind of nice. A stun that ignores stun resistance. I don't know, it sounds neat to me. This definitely seems like one of those units that if me and my brother ever had, we would definitely like mess around and see if we could try and get that Noble Phantasm looping as much as we can so we can kind of do some stuff with her. But anyway, that's Kashin Koji. I wish you the best of luck if you're going for her. I don't think there's going to be a summon video on her, but I'm like 50-50 on it. I kind of like the idea of going for her, but I really need to be saving up for Anniversary. I really need to. I ended up doing pretty well on Draco and Mama Tiamat, better than I thought I would do, obviously, but I really shouldn't like push my luck. I guess it depends on ZZZ. If my luck is really bad on ZZZ, I will do a video for Kashin Koji, because it means my luck has to be somewhere. But if I pull insane on ZZZ, I'm making a video for I'm not making a video for Kashin Koji. You can catch me doing the challenge quest and enjoying the event from there. But I definitely I would put her on a, it's so funny because I would love to use her on like the select a 5-star, but my Quetz isn't NP5 yet. And I really want my Quetz to be NP5 because it annoys me that she's NP3. Much to think about. But anyway, that's the end of the video, everyone. Hopefully this ended up being alright. Again, I did have to completely re-record this, and now I feel like I'm losing my voice again, but it's perfectly fine because, like I said, the sickness is leaving me. I should be fine eventually. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Stay healthy. Drink some orange juice. It helps. Trust me, it really does help. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Bye.